Hello and welcome back to Reffing with the Sacklers. I'm Scott. Today I'm going to be the center referee on this match. It is a U16 Boys, which is 2007 boys, between Roseville Premier. They'll be in the black uniforms, and then the white uniforms is the away team. It's played in Roseville on March 26th. This was an exciting game. It was a state cup game in the knockout. It must have a winner, and they're playing to advance in this state cup tournaments. In today's match, I was the center referee. Katie was the AR on the closest side, and on the far side, we had another assistant referee with us. His name was Ryan. He was excellent throughout the match. We'll point out a few really good things that he did. Aaron, unfortunately, wasn't able to join us on this one because I think he was playing today. But with that, let's get into it. Getting into our first decision here, this was an easy call. It's a simple trip from behind. Let's watch and see what happens. So see right there, he just clips him on the ankle, nothing nefarious. He just a simple foul. In this next one, it is a no call on the pitch. Let's watch what happened. He comes in, they both just jump together there, really kind of Black's getting the ball. White's kind of trying to jump in front of him. From my angle, I didn't see anybody jumping into anybody. The next decision point was a no call on the field. However, it is at a critical point in the game, and we're going to spend a little bit of time looking at it. So let's watch it. It's a potential foul in the box that we know called. Let's watch it in real time. This is full game speed. Player runs in, so he falls down there. I actually make a no call on the pitch. I double blow my whistle so I don't signal for a foul, and then I go and talk to the AR. So let's back it up a little bit here and let's watch it in slow motion. So here, player's coming in, he's running, Black is coming. He kind of throws himself at it to kick it because he's trying to take that shot. And a lot of times when players do go through and really throw their body in to get a kick, they fall down naturally, which is kind of what I saw. And from my angle on the pitch, I'm looking through and I am looking through the players. I really had a pretty good view of their back. There's no player directly in my line of sight. The challenge for me as the center here is that the white player's back and is between me and where the contact's happening. In a perfect world, I might be further over here, but this all happened so fast I couldn't move. So you do see this white player's arm, it kind of comes up a little bit. It sort of from this angle looks like he might have pushed him, but from my angle, his arm was high. So I'm honestly not 100% sure this was a foul in real time. I made it a no call because, in the game, you have to be 100% sure on a PK. You can't be maybe because it's a very important point. But I also know if a better angle would have been from the side. So I actually go in this match here and I talk to my AR on the side to say, did you have a better angle on this one and what did you see? Now, ultimately, because of how far he was away and because of where some other players were on the field, he actually didn't see it very well either. And so, with that, there just isn't enough there to award a PK. So, in this one, I guess, Katie, what do you think?
For this one, it's kind of hard to tell from the camera angle, like the black player was like going into it and then fell naturally, or if the white player extended their arm to do it. So there's also a maybe he shoved him forward. So I think this is a good, like, oh, maybe we got it wrong.
Okay, so that'll be a decision for us, and it'll be a half point deduction for the wrong call, but because it's a critical decision point for the PK, potential PK, we'll deduct a full point for that one. For this next one, it was a call for a push in the back on the field. This one starts out with the black team player dribbling the ball, and you actually see the white team player get in a good position, and black kind of gets a little bit frustrated and just gives him some push. See it right there. The white team kind of got in there, got his kick in. Black kind of comes into him. This one is not shoulder to shoulder. He's clearly getting him in the back. So he goes down. We call the foul. Easy call. Our next decision point is a simple trip. It was called on the field. Let's watch it and see what happened. It's right there. He's going for the ball. He just kind of catches him on the leg right there.
Yep, I think that's a pretty obvious trip.
In our next decision point, there's a quick trip, and then I allow it to play and signal advantage. Let's watch and see what happens. Ball's coming up, black player gets it. He just gets tripped right there. And then I'm taking a look at it right now, and I've even got the whistle to my mouth, and I'm trying to decide what to do. But I look out ahead, and I see that there's actually only really 3 defenders, and there's like 5 attackers all ready to go, and they've got a wide open field. You see there, I even signal, I've got my hand out, I'm saying, I I know there was a foul, but advantage is being applied. So let this go. And then there's like some bumping happening there and a little shove there by Black. Not enough for a foul, but enough that I want to tell him that I saw it. See, as you watch here, right? Here, I point at 23 and I basically say, hey, I saw that and I'm going to be watching that going forward. That was right up against the edge of what I'm going to allow for this game. So, in our next decision point, it's up here near the corner of the box. And there's some handsiness by the players. They're kind of pushing on each other, but it's really 50-50. Let's watch it and see what happens. And it was a no call in the field. So there they're going at it. There's a little bit of pushing, but nothing major. Let's go back.
Yeah, it looked more like they were 50-50 for the ball. And even if there was a bit of pushing, they were both doing it to each other. So who exactly could you actually call it for? So overall, I thought that that was like a good no call.
Exactly. Now, also interesting, let's watch and see what our parents have to say about this one.
Watch the hands, ref!
It's always really interesting. They're over here saying, watch the hands ref. Well, clearly we saw it. And if you look at my position on the field, I'm, no more than 10, 12 yards away from that. I've got a really good view of exactly what's happening. There's no foul there, as we've said, but, people here sitting 50, 60 yards away, they're trying to educate me on, to watch the hands. It's
Yeah.
funny sometimes. The next point we're going to talk about here isn't actually a referee decision at all. It's more of giving some compliments to our assistant referee for something he did to protect our gear. So on this field, our gear is up here in this upper left-hand corner. And if you watch on this video, there's a woman walking here and she comes and she gets to our gear. Now, every referee knows somebody who's had their bag stolen or something vandalized. Luckily, it's never happened to us, knock on wood. But if you watch here, like my AR on this side, he sees somebody's going for our stuff. And he comes over and he talks to her and basically says, hey, what's going on? What are you doing? Fortunately for us here, the woman who's looking in our bag is my wife, Stephanie, Katie's mom. And we had arranged for her to come and trade off cars. So she's actually just getting the car keys out of my bag and putting the other car keys in. But kudos to our assistant referee here for protecting our bag, keeping an eye on things. That's definitely something you should think about because that type of vandalism does actually happen. Our next decision point was a no call on the field. It looks a little bit like a trip here, but let's watch it and see what happens. There you see. Let's go back and watch it. And right there, you see White actually make a really good slide tackle. I'm also in a really good position to see this. I've got a perfect angle on it. White makes a slide tackle, gets the ball cleanly, and then Black actually initiates the contact and trips over, but he initiated the contact. So this is clearly a no call. You can even tell from his body language here, he knows it's not a foul. He carries on and goes on.
The next one's a really easy call. It was an offside call. The white player is attacking. He clearly gets an offside position. The white player kicks it to him, and he is offside. So that's the right call.
Yep, easy peasy. Our next decision point is a fairly straightforward push in the back. Let's watch it and see what happens. There, White's coming in, pushes Black down. It's really very easy here. He pushes it. I call it super quick. You see me blow the whistle and signal, no issues. But let's listen to her.
Let's go! Come on! Jesus, man!
So it's just really interesting when they yell across like that, like, oh, Jesus, go. I've already blown the whistle. I've already blown it, right? I could not have gotten the whistle to my mouth any faster. Clearly, we know it's a call. Why they think that's going to help, I don't quite understand. Our next decision point is a fairly straightforward no call. It is in the box, so people have their eye on it, but let's watch it and see what happens. So there, White gets it. He comes in, kind of like Black gets the ball. White kind of bumps into him and falls down. And then you see me actually there. I've got my hand. I'm just telling him, like, dude, get up. Come on. Come on, we're going to win. Let's go back to playing. I'm not calling that. No way. The next one here is a pretty straightforward trip from behind. It's pretty light, and I call it right away. Let's watch and see what happens. Right there's a little bump, but he clips him on the ankle. And the guy's like, oh, where's the foul? Yeah, blow the whistle. Yep, we're going to call it. Let's go.
There's the foul.
In our next decision point, this is both a hard foul and a yellow card. So let's watch this. White is attacking, but he kind of loses the ball and then gets a little bit frustrated and takes out his frustration. Let's watch and see what happens. So there he's attacking. Black comes in, gets it, and White just kind of trucks him from behind there, right? So it gets him, doesn't even try to play the ball, goes through his back. In my mind, that's clearly reckless. And if you watch here in real time, you see me, I'm running in there, I'm pulling the card out of my pocket and going to give him. You also notice I keep my yellow card actually in my front pocket of my shorts rather than in the shirt pocket. Some referees like it in the shirt pocket, and the ceremony and the look of opening your pocket and pulling it out. I was given some advice some time ago about keeping my yellow card in my pocket of my pants, which I really like because I can get my card out super quick. People see it in your hand, and it kind of tamps down on some of the negativity. So, I can have it out. I'm already running over. People know that I'm going to give him the card, and they see it, and they give you credit for dealing with it. Our next decision point is a fairly important one for the game. There's a throw in, and White is throwing the ball in, and that ball is going to go into the goal, but it's going to go between the keeper's legs as the keeper is trying to play it. Let's watch it and see what happens. There's the throw in. Ball comes in, and then right there it goes between the keeper's legs as the keeper is trying to see it. And then the ball just squirts out and it goes right into the goal. Now, this is an important decision because cannot score directly from a throw-in. Somebody has to touch it. So the difference between that keeper touching it, even if it just grazed a pinky, and him not touching it is the difference between a goal or a goal kick. I thought I saw it hit his hand, so you see me already signaling for the goal. But I also want to make sure I get this right. I know I've only got 2 other people on this whole field who are on my side and are willing to help me with unbiased opinion. Those are my ARs. Yeah. So I decide I'm going to go talk to Katie on the sideline, and I'm going to ask her what she saw.
So I actually had a pretty good angle on it because there was no one in between my view and the keeper. I didn't have to look through anyone, and I had a really good angle on him touching the ball. So I also just quickly said, yeah, the keeper touched it. It should be a goal.
In our next decision point, this is a push in the back. It is close to a yellow card. I strongly considered a yellow card in this case and ultimately decided not to issue one. Let's watch it and see what happens. So right there, he pushes him in the back, gets him right there. His momentum carried him forward. He was running. You see, I had kind of perfect position. I was very close to that call, so I went with no card in this case, which I'm comfortable with. I think you're okay in that case going with either a card or no card. I chose to go with no card. In our next decision point, Black is attacking here into the box, and you'll notice that when the player comes in, he gets his leg up really high. It's potentially a dangerous play. Let's watch it and see what happens. I did no call this on the field, but I also talked to the players. So let's watch. So right there, he goes up, he's trying to kick it, and his foot is quite high. Only reason I didn't go with a high kick call here is that if you look at where his foot is, it's actually about a full arm's length away from the keeper's head. But it was close enough I wanted to talk to him. I want to make sure I make a show of saying, hey, I know you weren't trying to hurt him. I know your foot didn't get that close to him, but I need you to be careful because if you were much closer, that's definitely a foul and I'm going to call it in the future. And I'm just trying to manage the game here and keep it from getting out of hand. In our next decision point, there's a push in the back. It came close to a card on this one as well. Well, let's watch and see what happens. Right there, he gets him hard. White ends up going down. I kind of come in here. I debated whether or not that's a yellow card or not. Given the way that he was running and he had a lot of momentum carrying him, it didn't take a lot of hard bump to get him to go down, and then he just rolled with it. I felt like it was kind of on the line and okay not to issue a yellow card there. So I think it's a good call. So our next point of discussion isn't actually a foul or a referee decision at all. It's just really unlucky for me. So let's watch. Right now, Black here is trying to gain possession of the ball. I'm kind of running in there trying to decide which way is he going. I'm not sure which way to get out of the way. And then this happens. Oh, very unfortunate. He kicks the ball right into my crotch. 0 out of 10. Would not recommend.
I'd recommend it for the sideline. It was
Right about there, I'm reconsidering my life choices. I'm really trying to compose myself, figure out what's next. The kid's there. He's really nice. He's trying to apologize. You watch me like I'm regaining myself. Okay, time's going. Okay, oh, better get this going. All right, I want to drop this ball, and then I give it back to him, and you see me. Okay, I'm trying to be tough. I'm trying to run. Yeah. I'm moving slow. I thought about that one for a couple of minutes. Our next decision point is a push in the back, actually by this white player, and it's a difficult call to make sometimes in the field. Let's watch it and I'll show you why. Like here, white's got it, then there's the push. But let's watch this again. Right here, white had the ball and black just battles him for position and actually gets the position. And then if we go forward, right there, you see white extend his arm and push black off the ball. So in real time, difficult to see, but I had a good angle on it. I could see the separation there. I'm just off the screen here, and I end up calling it, and it is the right call. Our next decision point is a trip that at the time I saw and I thought about calling, and I decided to let play. I didn't signal advantage, though. Let's watch and see what happens. So right there, he gets tripped, he gets up, and
he passes it to one of his teammates. But like from my perspective on the field, it really looked like he was tripped. But you were trying to like call advantage for it, but it didn't really look like there was an advantage because basically like a whole bunch of White's defense was there. No players were really like having a very good break for the field. He was just like in the middle of the field. I think this was a bad call.
yeah, so I agree. We'll make a deduction for that. Our next decision is a handball just outside of the box. It's pretty straightforward. Let's watch it and see what happens. So right there, this white player here in the middle, he kicks it up. It hits his teammate's hand, drops right at his foot. Let's play it in slow-mo right there. His arm's kind of out a little bit and just drops the ball right at his foot. It's clearly a foul, and I was in perfect position to see it. Our next decision point is a trip, and let's watch and see what happens. I called this one on the field. So White's running after the ball. Black just kind of gets him there, gets at his ankle, and he trips. Easy call. Call it right away, and we're all good. Our next decision point is the last decision point of this half, and it was a no call on the field. Let's watch it and see what happens. So Black's trying to battle for the ball and come in. They just hit each other shoulder to shoulder right there. So you can kind of see White's coming in for the ball. Black's also coming in for the ball. It's really a shoulder to shoulder. Black is a bigger guy, and so White gets the shorter end of the stick, but there's nothing illegal about that contact. For me, that was very easy, no call. In our first decision point of the second half, this happens just inside of the box here, and there's a big tangle up with players. Let's watch and see what happens. They come in, and then there's this whole, like, collision of players that happens. And let's watch that in slow motion. This white player comes in and kind of clears the ball right there.
Makes good contact with it,
Yep.
and then people with their momentum just trip over his leg. So it's like pretty clear. It's just like a big entanglement. And
yeah, nothing really serious happening there. It just looks bad from the sideline, and the ball squirts out here. In our next decision point, this was a handball that was called on the field. Let's watch and see what happens. Right there, player's arms out, hits his arm, drops
clear
down.
extension, clearly handball.
Easy call. This next decision point I had as a no call on the field, but one of the players was not very happy about it, and it ultimately ended up being a verbal warning on the field. So let's watch and see what happens. So right here, Black is kind of getting the ball, and the white player kind of comes in. Black throws himself back into him. White bumps him to let him know that he's there. There's a little bump. Nothing serious. No foul there. Wouldn't even consider that a decision point at this point. Then he kicks the ball away, and kind of a little bit after it's gone, White kind of gives him a little extra bump there, a little more than is necessary, right? And I'm okay with this being a no call, but he definitely let him know it was there and it was a little bit late. So he gives him that bump, and then That player says something very unsporting to the other player. I don't remember his exact words, but it was very much a taunting comment to him, calling him names. And so you see me, like, I don't want to stop play here, but right here, I point at him and I say, next stoppage, we're coming back, right? I heard what you said. And so play kind of continues on here. Now it goes out. Now I call this player over and I give him the yellow card for what he had said at this point, maybe about a minute before. So, of course, everybody on the sidelines is wondering what in the world's going on because, one, there's nothing happening right this second, and they couldn't have heard him what he said originally from the other side of the field. But this ends up being a yellow card for unsporting behavior for basically taunting the opponent. Our next decision point here is a push in the back that I call, but it's interesting because it's exactly the same player that got the yellow card just a minute ago. And I end up talking to him because this is close to a yellow card as well. And I want to make sure he gets himself under control. So let's watch it and see what happens. So he comes in, he bumps this player, gives him a push in the back, really doesn't try to play the ball. I could have gone with a yellow here. I chose not to because it wasn't super hard and it would have been a second yellow. So instead, I opt to talk to him. Now he's frustrated, and you watch him. I'm trying to talk to him. He walks right by me and keeps walking away. And I'm trying to talk to him. So I actually then tell him, hey, I need you to get back here right now. We're going to talk about this. So he finally comes back. And I end up explaining to him, hey, look, you're pushing. I can tell you're upset. Let's not get out of control. I don't want to have to send you off. You got to take it down a notch, basically. So please, let's just be trying to play the ball. Next time, I'm going to have to go with that. So our next decision is an offside call where it actually ends up taking a goal off the board. So let's watch it and see what happens. So here the ball is coming through, and right there's the moment of decision. He's just kicked the ball, and this player is in an offside position. He's not very far offside. You can tell he's just offside. AR waits to see if he gets involved in the active play. Clearly he does, and immediately his flag goes up. He signals very clearly. The ball does go into the back of the net. People are celebrating, but we're calling this one off. Our next decision is a pretty hard trip in the back, and this one ends up being a yellow card by the time it's all said and done. So let's watch it and see what happens. Right there, gets him really hard in the back. Let's watch slow motion. Yeah, he just comes in. He's trying to throw his leg around to try to slide tackle for the ball, but his knee just really gets this number 23 right in the back of his thighs. He goes down hard. In my mind, it's clearly reckless. You see me again. I pull the card quickly out of my front short pocket of my shorts. I prefer it in my pocket of my shorts than in the shirt. I get it out super quick. I again give him the card. This next decision point ends up being a push in the back that I do call. What is interesting, though, is that the parents on the sideline here directly in front of the ball were cheering for the white team, and they had some comments for me about basically saying, what game are you watching? There's no foul there. So let's watch it and see what happens. Right here, he clearly gets him. You see Black even pulling forward. I start to put the whistle in my mouth to blow it, and then he bumps him even harder and he goes to the ground. Now he's trying to put his hands up to say, it wasn't me, I didn't do anything. And his spectators over here are basically yelling, what game are you watching, ref? Now, unfortunately, the wind had picked up at this point, and you can't really hear it on the audio at all. But you see here, if I speed it up to 2x speed, we start to go, and I'm hearing the parents say, what game are you even watching? So I decided to go over and talk to his coach. I talked to the coach and basically said, and that coach had been very good the whole game. He was excellent. He yells at his spectators saying, hey, please, you got to stay under control. Really happy for his support in that case. And he was able to deal with it, and I didn't have any problems with him the rest of the game. Our next decision was a no call on the field. Let's watch it and see what happened. White is attacking. So it comes through. They both kind of go for the ball. There's some contact there, but really nothing in the that you would call in the course of a game. I think it's a good no call. Our next decision point's a simple handball. Let's watch it. Ball comes in here and then right here it goes off of him and up to his arm and back down. This is an easy call for me. You can see me, I signal for the handball, and we carry on. Our next decision here was a no call on the pitch. Let's watch it and see what happens. This white and black player number 30 here are battling for the ball. They come in, they're just battling, they're going for it, really nothing there, no major contact. I think it's a good no call. Our next decision point here is one that's actually a really hard one to make. I find that some of the hardest calls to make are when an attacker's coming in really quick and the keeper is coming in there and they're going in polar opposite directions, and you've got to make this decision super quick, and it's microseconds of who got to the ball first that decides things. So this ends up being a no call on the field. You see they flip the field, so I'm running, trying to catch up. But this black player here, he's going to come in and try to get the ball, and the keeper slides in. You can see me, I'm catching up. I'm here still further away than you'd like to be, but again, they flip the field on me. But the keeper grabs the ball, gets it, and then this black player tries to avoid the contact, actually. He just jumps up. And so you see him fall down, but there is no foul there at all. He tried to avoid the contact. Keeper got the ball. In the next decision point, this was a call for a push in the back on the field. Let's watch it and see what happens. So right there, they're battling, and then you just see him give that extra elbow, and the white player just flies, right? Let's watch it again. Right there, he just gets it. Like, to me, that was an easy call on the field. This ended up being an important call in the game because from that position, White actually ended up scoring a goal off of the kick. In our next decision point, this is actually two in rapid succession, so we're going to review them both at the same time. These were no calls on the pitch, so let's watch. Number 23 is attacking with the ball and White's defending. So you see him come in. White gets the ball there, but they kind of tangle up. I don't think there's anything there. And then Black kind of kicks the ball away, and his backside interacts with White. But, I think there's no call there. I'm comfortable with that. And then right here, Black just kind of, comes over. You see me end up telling him, get up, we're going to play on. I think at this age group, that's fine contact. In our next decision point, this was another one of those difficult calls where an attacker's coming in, keeper's coming out to challenge for the ball. Let's watch this in real time. This was a no call on the pitch, so let's see if I got it right. So the attacker comes in, keeper comes in, slides, gets the ball, and the player goes down. But if we go back and we watch this with the benefit of slow motion, you see there, like, the keeper actually gets to the ball first, kicks the ball away, and is moving backwards. And then the black player actually jumps up to avoid the contact and hurdles over. So they don't even touch each other in this exchange. And so it's a really good no call. I'm right here. I've got a good angle. I'm within a nice distance. I see it very clearly. It's a no call on the pitch. I think it's right, with the benefit of the video here. Our next decision point is another one in the box. This was a no call on the pitch, and let's watch it and see what happens. So the ball comes in here. Black kind of comes in. He actually gets the ball, he kicks it, and you see it fly up. And then as he's coming around, he kind of falls down. And it looks like a dramatic fall. Sometimes players will do that in order to sell a call, right? But if you watch it in slow motion, like here, he just he lands and then he twists and his momentum just kind of carries him. We ended up nobody complained. You can tell from his body language, he gets up. He knows he wasn't fouled. There's nothing there, right? So easy no call. For our next decision point, this was a no call in the field, but it was possible handball. In fact, a likely handball. But let's watch it and see what happens. So there it happens. You see him signal for it, and right there, his arm's kind of out. It does hit, but if you look at kind of where I'm at, I'm up here. I'm looking through, and actually because of the angle, I have to look through his body. So I can't actually see his arm out. So this is where angles are really important. Like this coach, he's got a perfect view of that. He can see that the guy's arm is out. He can see it's a handball. I can't from where I'm at. And depending on what my AR is doing, maybe he sees it or maybe he's watching the line. So it's one of those things. I just missed this one because of my angle and positioning. It is what it is, but that one will be a deduction because we missed that one. Next one's a really interesting call, and it was called a no call on the field And let's watch it and see what happens, and we'll discuss it. So they're attacking on the far side right there. Black goes for a slide tackle and white goes down. So let's watch that in slow motion. Right here, Black goes to slide tackle it. He actually gets the ball, and the ball is squirting out the other side. And then the white player initiates the contact into the black player who's on the ground and goes down. Now you notice here I'm running to catch up with the play because this was a breakaway, but I'm actually in not terrible position. Maybe ideally I might be another 5 yards closer or so, but I've got a really good angle on this. So I saw it very clearly, and I immediately start to say, no call here. But you also, I want to call attention and give credit to my assistant referee. You'll notice here, he's looking at it and he's giving me a signal in his arm without the flag in it. He's got his arm out, which means play on. So he's telling me, I think that's not a foul. It's very good work by him to give me that signal. We agree with it. There, I'm signaling no, and we carry on. Our next decision point ends up being a fairly critical point in the game. There's a handball in this one, and it's not initially called, but then I go and talk to the AR and we end up agreeing on it. And it ends up taking a goal off. So let's watch it, and then we're going to listen to some parent comments. So here, this happens really fast. There's a kick up, the ball drops down. Now he goes and he scores. But let's back this up and let's watch it. So right here, Black kicks it, and you see the white player, he's got his arm out a little bit like this, right? And then the ball hits his arm and it drops right at his feet in order to go and score that goal. Now, from my angle on the pitch here with this, I'm looking right through. I'm kind of just off the screen. I should probably be running closer to this, but I end up in real time. I couldn't tell if the ball hit his arm or if it actually bounced off his face. And so at the moment, I actually thought it hit him in the face. And so I'm thinking that's not a call. But then you see me even signal for a goal here, but I'm immediately walking to my AR because I'm not sure. And I'm thinking that ball bounced in such a way that it couldn't have bounced off his face. So I end up going and talking to the AR. We end up conferring and deciding that, yes, it was actually a handball, which the video confirms. And so we end up taking this goal off the scoreboard. Now, this one's interesting too, because let's listen to the comments from spectators.
He's already said no one's going to convince him otherwise. Who's the captain? Go talk to Rick.
But you heard them say there, who's in charge here? Why do you go talk to that ref?
With this, he's doing like what you should do because assistant referees are there to assist the referee. And so with this, if they have like a better angle on it, then this is exactly where they should be giving their input to the referee to call off that goal, which would be a major decision point. And so when they're going, oh, why don't you make a decision by yourself? Why don't you go and like talk to like a captain or something? There's only 3 unbiased people on that field, and that's the center and the 2 ARs. And so when he goes and talks to the AR, then that's like that's exactly what they're supposed to do. They're called the assistant referee for a reason. They're here to assist.
So our next decision point was a no call on the field. Let's watch it and see what happened. So White's trying to get the ball here, and then Black just kind of comes in right there and pushes him.
Yeah, extends his arm.
Yeah, extends his arm. You see White, and this white player here is like, hey, where's the foul? And, he's right. You probably should have seen it. From my angle, I had a couple of bodies in my way, so I didn't see it perfectly clearly. But that's definitely a missed call, and I should have called that on the pitch. So for our next decision point, this is a trip that also resulted in a yellow card as stopping a promising attack. So you see here, Black's trying to get control of the ball here, but the attacker comes in and is just about to, in fact, the attacker gets it. Black comes in a little bit late, gets him, but also, like, if he doesn't get him there, there's only one defender there. He's going straight to goal. So this can be both a yellow card for stopping a promising attack as well as a yellow card for the reckless foul. You see, I immediately blow my whistle. I pull out the yellow card. Again, I've got it in my front pocket so I can get it out super quick, and we issue the card. So our next decision point is in the box. It's at a critical point in the game. Again, the Black team here is trying to come back. It's a State Cup knockout game, and they're 1 point behind, and we're in the final minutes. But this ends up being a no call on the field. Let's watch it and see what happens. So here, White's trying to attack, and then it just kind of falls in there. Let's go back here and watch it in slow-mo. Okay, so again, Black's attacking.
Gets the ball out.
It's the White kind of kicks the ball out, and the ball's now gone. Black comes in actually and initiates the contact over the keeper who's established a position. And so the Black player falls in a dramatic way, but he initiated that contact, and then just out of kind of bad luck here, they get kind of tangled up here. There's no fouls there. Katie, like, what did you see there? You had a good angle on that as well.
So I just saw that like the player kicked it out. Like it looked fine with that. And so then I just saw like sure there was entanglement, but the ball was already kicked out. Didn't look like a foul to me, and so I didn't think that that was a foul.
And let's listen to our parents on this one. Again, they really want this PK, but listen to it.
Hey, he tripped the guy. Oh, that's not right. The goalie tripped the guy. He wasn't even near the ball.
So I like that, he's like, oh, I tripped the guy. He wasn't anywhere near the ball. I mean, the guy cleared the ball out, right? So that's not right. Okay, I know you want the call really badly, but we can't go and make it up for you. So, and in our final decision of the match, this is a pretty straightforward one. It's a handball. Let's watch it. Player kicks it up right there, hits his arm, falls straight down.
Very
Super
easy.
easy call. Yeah. And that ends up being our final decision of the match. And with that, that concludes this game. So let's see how we did. So we had 52 decision points and 4 deductions, which gives us a separate score of 92.3%. So a good game. Not very many missed calls. There was a controversial one early in the game with the potential PK that we made as a no call. And in our review here, we kind of felt like maybe we missed it. But all in all, feel like this game was challenging. This age group, you got to let them play a little bit more. But we called where we need to call.
I'm Katie.
And I'm Scott.
Thank you for watching Roughing with the Sappers.
We'll see you out on the pitch.
Funny because like you try to get up and then you cringe.
Yep.
I will tell you this: the sideline was having a giggle about that one. I was thinking about that for like the rest of the game. I then go tease him at halftime. Sorry, guys. God.
Okay.